Did the Sony a7S III just become the perfect photography camera? Let me explain. YouTube, what is happening? I'm Paul, a traveling landscape photographer currently based in Melbourne. Just before we back up my very bold statement, let's look at the Sony a7S III from a photography perspective. Now, obviously this camera has very good ergonomics and you can custom map any button to pretty much whatever you want to do on camera. But to accompany that, you have blazing fast autofocus, fine-tuned color science, that you get amazing skin tones, animal and human eye tracking. You have a capture rate of 10 frames a second and you have a buffer that just doesn't kick in. I mean, you can shoot up to 1,000 frames without the buffer even remotely slowing down, which is insane. Now, I know what you're thinking, Paul, there's a clearly big hole in your argument here. How the hell can a 12 megapixel camera be the perfect photography camera? We need the resolution and we need the ability to be able to crop and get all that extra detail. Now, if that is the only thing that is holding you back from thinking that this camera could be the perfect photography camera, perfect hybrid, let me introduce you to the new feature that is now inside Adobe Photoshop. Super resolution. This software promises to basically double the resolution of your photos, basically turning a 12 megapixel image into a 48 megapixel. Now, you can use this feature on RAWs, TIFFs, DNGs, and JPEGs. Now, let's just jump in and I'll show you how to access these features. There are two distinct ways that I currently know of. Now, if you're working primarily with RAW photos, you can just do this inside of Photoshop, super easy. You just want to go ahead and open the image in Camera Raw. This is pretty straightforward. All you need to do is right click on the image, hit the enhance button, enhance. Make sure you have the super resolution ticked and it's going to do its thing. So after a few seconds, you can see we've got two images here. If you look at our original here, we can see down at the bottom, it's got 12 megapixels. And if we click on this one, it is now 48. We're going to go ahead and open both of these up just to have a quick look and see how well that is blown up our image. You see here at the top, it instantly renames your enhanced image as enhanced. Enhance. And it then formats into DNG. Now, the questions I had when I first started using this is, the digital sharpening, because that's what it's going to be using since it's AI, is the digital sharpening going to be super noticeable? Is it going to be horrific and unusable? And from what I can tell, it's pretty usable. If we're going to jump in here into our regular 12 megapixel image, and we're pretty far zoomed in at this point. This is a photo that I took on a recent shoot with a couple of Melbourne photographers and Priscilla, our model. So obviously it's sharp to a degree, but in the detail here in the skin and the pores, it's starting to blur a little bit. But what happens if we look at the enhanced image? Enhance. So we're going to zoom in roughly around the same. And this is normally you see the digital sharpening being kind of overused. And I'm going to say it first, I am very impressed. If we flick between the two here, this is the enhanced 48 megapixel image and this is the 12 megapixel image. And you can see that it's really just brought out the detail in our skin. Now, obviously this might not be for everyone, but the more information you have to work with can only be better, right? So a little bonus tip. So obviously this is applying digital sharpening to enhance the features when it's blowing up the image to stop our images being really pixelated if we were just to blow them up normally. So if you're not aware, when you bring a raw image into the Camera Raw application inside of Photoshop, it automatically applies sharpening. Now, the fact that our image has already been digitally enhanced, sharpened, we don't want to be double sharpening it. So the best way that I found and the best results I've got from this process, so when you're importing your enhanced image, make sure you're going down to the detail tab and taking the sharpening out. Now, let's just say you don't have raw files, you want to enhance all family photos. The only way I've found to access this super resolution feature for JPEGs and TIFFs and DNGs would be through Adobe Bridge. Again, if we just open up here, so let's try it with a landscape image this time. So we've got this picture of this lighthouse here. I'm going to go open in Camera Raw. And again, we're just going to go right click, enhance. Now you'll notice this is raw detail. It isn't selected because this is obviously not a raw photo. Now again, I'm really surprised how well this software works. If we look at this lighthouse image here, it's only 12 megapixels, 12.4 megapixels. And if we run it through the super resolution software, we've got a 30 megapixel image, which is insane. We're gonna jump into the low res image at the moment, where I'm gonna look for the detail in here. So we see here it's very pixelated. We can't see the hatching of the fence. But what happens when we look at the super resolution? Now that is night and day. You can actually see the detail. It doesn't look over sharpened. It doesn't look horribly digital sharpened. It's actually done a really good job at blowing up the image and enhancing some of the details in there. Some of the drawbacks to this obviously include larger files and therefore you're going to be fill up storage a lot quicker. But I don't know, I'm working firsthand with a high resolution camera. Every image takes up a lot of space. But now that I can pick and choose what images are enlarged, I don't know. It just makes me feel a little bit more secure that this camera could stand the test of time and be a little bit more future-proof than I first thought. This isn't obviously going to fix out of focus photos or super blurry photos, but what it can do is revive maybe old family photos, enhance some of our drone images, and we can potentially print them even larger now. And maybe it can make the Sony a7S III the perfect photography camera. I don't know, guys. That's just my rambling thoughts on this new software. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think it can maybe replace high resolution cameras in the future? All I know is technology is moving far too fast for me to keep up, and I'm starting to feel like a very old man. At its current state, I'm actually really curious to how far we can push this, or what are the real world applications of this software. What happens if we print our images after we've enhanced them?
Enhance. Just print the damn thing!
But I think that's for another video. Anyway guys, if you got some value from this video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all those YouTube things. But until next time guys, peace.
Enhance.